like the idea of financial freedom, but they're not willing to pay the price.
Thank you.
Do the work that is necessary. It doesn't. The vehicle never matters, whether it's trading, property, stocks, music, whatever venture. Right? You have to be willing to pay the price.
If this is your first time listening, they call me Adrian, and you're now tuned into the Sound of Accra. This is the show where we chat with colourful creatives and entrepreneurs from a Ghanaian background, all with special interest to the city, bringing you one step closer to Accra. The guest I have for you today goes by the name of Jason Agboza. We're going to talk about his success in trading. You can get the show notes by visiting thesoundofaccra.com. Without further ado, we're going to get into this podcast, and I'm going to catch you on the other side. God bless. Take care. So I would like to welcome Jason Agboza to the show. So Jason is an investor. He's an entrepreneur and a speaker, and he, just to say the least, he's truly made an impact in my life. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adrian. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just being productive during this season. You know, I mean, it's a lot of madness going on right now in the world, but you have to see the positives. You have to see the silver linings, and I'm sure you're seeing that as well.
Absolutely. I always tell people, you know, in the midst of adversity, there is always opportunity. You know, life is, 100%.
We haven't even gotten to the first minute of the podcast, and already, ladies and gentlemen, he is already dropping these gems. Welcome to Jason Agboza. This is a guy and a half, I'm telling you. So Jason, before I get into kind of introducing you in terms of you getting to tell the audience about a brief background into yourself, I just want to mention that me and Jason, we did meet at university. I've known this guy for more than 10 years, and honestly, this guy, everyone needs a Jason in their life. Honestly, everybody needs a Jason in their life. That's all I'm going to say. So Jason, if you just like to kind of give the audience the kind of a brief background into yourself, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, sure, certainly. So again, Jason Agboza, I'm 29 years of age, and my background is within the investment space. So I've had the privilege of being able to work for some of the world's largest investment banks, such as JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. And, you know, it didn't always start that way. I remember growing up working for a competitor of Mothercare, for those of you who are familiar with Mothercare, baby clothes shop, right? And I was working for their competitors, which was called a Pumpkin Patch. So can you imagine a big 6'6" black Ghanaian just folding baby clothes for a living, you know? And that's exactly what I was doing. And alongside that, you know, I remember growing up in the likes of Brixton for about 10 years, and then moved to Catford for about 15 years. Got married, been married for about 6 years, and our newborn baby daughter, who is 7 months old now. We named her Hosanna. So we're very, very grateful. And, you know, it just goes to show that regardless of where you've come from and where you've been brought up, because these places weren't easy to grow up in, it does not need to dictate and determine where you're going to end up. You understand? And you know, we all have our different struggles. And, you know, again, just in terms of my story, I grew up pretty fast, because by the time I was age 11, my mother unfortunately suffered with paranoia schizophrenia. So I had to take care of my younger brother, who was 6 at the time, and we really had to lean on our father's instructions, and he impressed upon us the importance of education. So, you know, we went down the usual route of school, college, university, and I actually studied law. Studied law with international relations, and then
forget that sometimes.
100% studied law, and then managed to make the transition from law into finance. So here we are today. Very, very blessed. Very, very grateful to still be here. Indeed.
Excellent. I mean, it's quite fascinating because, I mean, your story is fascinating. We're going to get into that in terms of how you quit the rat race, etc. But it's quite interesting, Jason, because, I mean, there's quite a number of people I know that studied law and now come doing almost a completely different career, or running a completely different business. They've done a 180. I don't know if necessarily it's because law is competitive. I think it's just, you know, you just have a passion or a career change or change of heart.
Well, you know, when it comes down to it, to be honest, I didn't really feel like I got much guidance as to what I was supposed to do, or what you know, career lane I should go down. I pretty much just said, you know what, I'm good with communication, and in writing and literature and essays. And I thought, okay, well, what could be a profitable move with those sort of skill sets? Because I didn't necessarily, love maths or the sciences. And, in the African home, they really say, be a lawyer, be a doctor, be an engineer. So, really and truly, I said, okay, well, maybe it's the law route. And, once I had finished, of course, in the UK, you have to go through the LPC, the legal practitioner's course, if you want to be a qualified solicitor. And the funds required to be able to study that were hefty for me at the time. So I just said, I'm just going to get into the working marketplace. And I was headhunted for an insurance law firm. I worked there for approximately a year or so. Once the contract had finished, then I was approached by Fidelity Worldwide Investment. That's literally how I ended up getting into the investment space. So, it's crazy. So many people are doing things different from what they studied. 3 years and all that uni debt, uni fee to only go ahead and do something different. It's an interesting system.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it honestly is an interesting system. And I think opportunities that we have, in our day and age, I mean, to go into different careers, different industries is wonderful. And you just saying you got headhunted, by insurance company, and then, another insurance company, etc. It just shows how, people can just make that change and just go into something else without even realizing it. Yeah. But I think your story is quite interesting in terms of you, working full time and then going into trading. Yeah. I mean, one thing I won't forget in terms of you quitting the rat race was this imagery never forgets me. And I actually tell people this sometimes is that I remember when we spoke on the phone and then you mentioned, I think you and Goldman Sachs or JP, one of them, I can't remember. And then you would say it'll be lunchtime, right? You'll be heating your food up in the kitchen. You go to your desk and you want to make it back to the kitchen. That really sums it up, Jason, honestly.
Yeah.
It really sums it up.
Yeah.
How about we go into you kind of how you kind of like quit the rat race? I mean, let's kind of build up, let's go through kind of like your kind of maybe like your career and that the build up to that moment. Sure. Where you're just like, nah, enough is enough. I need a way out.
Sure, 100%. And I remember the first job that I was doing at Fidelity was within sort of client services. Thoroughly enjoyed that because I enjoyed working alongside people, serving people. The philosophies of our faith is all about service as well. And I really enjoyed that, was strong at that. And then eventually went from Fidelity to JP Morgan. JP Morgan pretty much the same sort of work within the first year. And then the department was outsourced to a third party. So many people left JP Morgan in that particular department, and I sort of found an internal role elsewhere just so that I could, make sure I had some income coming in. And it was in a role that I really had no interest in. It was literally just for the sake of, being able to sustain myself. Didn't enjoy the work, the people I had to work with. And it started to build frustrations in me and made me think, what do I actually want to do? And, half a question that I asked myself, and I encourage other people to ask themselves, what would you be doing if money wasn't an issue? And eventually it got to a point where I said, I need to find a way to be able to utilize a vehicle that can enable me to be able to earn income without necessarily exchanging my time for money. So those were where the initial frustration started to come from. Yeah. And so at home, I would start looking at making beats. I
remember that.
Drop shipping.
Drop shipping. I didn't even know you
marketing online. Just something that I was really racking my brain. Should I start a blog? Should I do this? Should I do that?
Yeah. And you tried a few things actually. And I remember Dan Locke, before you go on, Jason, I think we talked about Dan Locke in the past personally. I remember he said that when people are trying to kind of like find that one business, sometimes it may take trying a few different things before you get to that one thing. And I think you found that one thing now. But anyway, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's a case of experimentation until you find something that kind of fits you. Whilst I was, searching for, what it is that would fit me, I was still obviously working the 9 to 5, and then eventually, I remember just taking a leap of faith. I remember quitting JP Morgan without having anything to go to. Now, obviously, most people say, "Oh, that's silly," but I had some savings and whatnot because I got to a point where I was fed up, and many people have that sort of feeling sometimes where their job is just truly depressing, and my philosophy is I'm not a tree. I can move.
Love that.
And,
say that again.
I am not a tree. If you're not a tree, you have the ability to make the choice to move. You understand?
That's it.
And so when I made that jump within 3 to 4 months, that's when Goldman Sachs approached thereafter, and got the role at Goldman Sachs. It was a project, and I was there for a year. Now, Goldman Sachs pays you very, very well, right? So one of the world's largest investment banks, and doing my work, but now getting good money. But now I literally have no time because I was working anywhere from about 8 o'clock in the morning to about 11 o'clock at night.
That's insane. I remember that.
There was not that, as you said earlier, there was no lunch break. You would warm your food up in the microwave, come back to your desk, and you would keep working. I said, Lord, am I going to be doing this for the next 60 years? And then wait, I said, no. I need to do something different. And so when my contract eventually ended, and there was a lot of managers really fighting for me to stay on, but there's just no room in, apparently, right? Made good money, had good savings, and because I had worked every single day, I didn't take a day off at Goldman Sachs. When the contract ended in August 2018, I said, I'm going to have a month off. I'm going to have a break. Or I'm going to have a break and rest for a while. In that break, in that period, I was then approached by someone that I love, trust, and respect, and said, Jason, have you considered trading for yourself? Because you don't really enjoy the corporate rat race. So have you trading for yourself? And I looked into it and eventually grabbed it with both hands because of the relationship that I had with this person I trust. And the rest is history. I have not worked a job now since August 2018. It is now June 7th, 2020. And that is how I literally left the rat race, and there's no way I'm going back.
Congratulations, man. Almost 2 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Almost 2 years. That's right, 22 months.
Yeah, excellent. Congratulations, Jason. Not a lot of people, again, even during you working full time, would even quit their job, quit, that comfortable, that security of an income, of a monthly income coming in, and even when I think you even did that in the midst of you being married and all this kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So not a lot of people have the guts to go ahead and do that, but yet you did that. And even when you were working at Goldman Sachs, when you hear Goldman Sachs, people think, okay, cool, this guy's made it, but they don't know the amount of hours you put it in. They don't know all the time that was taken away from you, no time for your spouse, no time for anybody else in your life, pretty much. Literally just a slave. And you didn't even take one day off. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
One day off. God says we should rest one day, and you didn't even take one day off.
Yeah, I had no breaks. I was just pretty much doing the Monday through to Friday. Sometimes I would do some Saturdays. But in my mind, I am not the average individual. Right, I'm not. No, do I think we're cool to be average? But in my mind, if we have the one life down here, got to be willing to take some risks.
Thank you.
Got to be willing to take some risks because at the end of the day, we only have so much time down here, and I don't want to just play it safe and play it small. I don't want to get to the age of 70 and think, oh, I wish I did this. I could have done this. I should have done this. I don't want that to be on my my deathbed. I at least tried, and the triumph in life is to try, and really go from there. If you have a burning desire and faith and a plan, then by all means you can really make some strong things happen.
That's very strong, very, very strong. One thing that motivates me is like thinking about the future and like having regret. Did I at least try? Did I do this? Did I do that? if you don't try, you know, nothing will happen. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't shoot at the moon, you're gonna hit nothing.
Right.
You know, at least shoot at the moon for, you know, land in the stars or whatever you're gonna call it. If you don't attempt nothing, you're gonna get nothing.
Exactly.
0 times 0 is 0. You know, so you have to try something.
Exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so obviously you went through all of these different roles, and then obviously you got to Goldman Sachs. People think, okay, this guy's made it, and then you quit. And then someone comes and tells you about trading. What was that like when you start trading? I mean, what was going through your mind? Like, were you thinking, oh, is this a scam? You know, people have tried this before and, you know, they failed, or they'll have momentum for some time and then they'll kind of like lose fire and then walk away. Because this is the reality, Jason, with lots of these different types of businesses, right? People, they'll get into it, they'll have a little bit of fire, they'll get a bit of momentum, and then they'll hit a brick wall and then they'll just walk away. What was going through your mind when someone approached you about trading? I mean, how did you respond to it initially?
Yeah, so my initial response was, I remember I had just finished teaching in church, and I was approached, and I literally said, Now, you know, in terms of your question about trading being a scam, when it comes down to it, trading is what the banks are doing with your money every single day. Trading is done by the banks, and it is the banks who are moving the markets and moving currencies and what have you, and the value of different commodities. And all you're doing is utilizing, a skill set and maybe some systems to be able to profit as a result of those movements that are happening in currencies or stocks or whatnot. A scam is really something that is designed to defraud you and take your money away from you. Well, if there are examples of it working for people, the fact of the matter is it's not a scam. Period. Because just because it hasn't worked for you doesn't make it a scam. And
thank you.
Just because it hasn't worked for you doesn't mean it can't work for someone else. You see, and it doesn't even just relate to trading. This can go and relate into any business venture. Statistics say that 95% of people who go into businesses fail within their first 5 years. Is business a scam? No, it's just the 5% who are willing to persist until they succeed. Because even with my own journey with regards to trading, I've traded now, again, as I said, 22 months. And the education I utilize to be able to learn, I have access to the education. Another person has access to the education. I get results, they don't get results. What's the common denominator? What's the issue here? The issue is mindset. And like I said, it transfers to property. Some people talk about, property is this, property is that. People go into property and make no money. Is property a scam? Or people go into property and make huge amounts of money. So the issue really is the mindset. I compare trading to the gym. Like two people go to the gym, one person comes out and gets the results that they're after. And another person comes out, doesn't get the results that they're after. But how can this be when both parties have the same access to the dumbbells, the squat rack, the treadmill? It's the same access. The difference is the level of commitment and engagement with the resources that both parties have access to. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. Yeah. I mean, I love the way you explained it. I mean, there's different vehicles of wealth. I mean, just like you said, stocks, there's property, there's trading, etc. But at the end of the day, you do get a lot of people jumping from one thing to another, jumping from one shiny object to another, but they don't stay at one place and just focus until they make it a success. And just like you said, the common denominator is the mindset. Because honestly, let's be real with you. I mean, if you're not going to put the effort and the work and you don't have that drive, you're not really going to get far, are you? You're not going to really get far in your journey.
It's so important because, like you rightly just mentioned, it's this shiny object syndrome. People jump from one thing to another. People know how to start. They do not know how to finish, and it's those who go to the end. You understand? You have to follow one course until successful. That's the acronym for focus. Follow one course until successful. A book called The One Thing, and really and truly, it's about committing to one thing long enough to see it through to the end. And then you take the financial equity or the brand equity from that, and then you can, if you want to, by all means, venture on and do other things. Do you see? That's why you see footballers, right? They built a brand, they built a name for themselves in something. Then they take their name and then put it on a cologne or cologne or perfume or whatnot, right? Because they killed it in their lane. They've stayed in their lane, and then they take the equity from that and do something else. But you've really got to focus and make sure that you've really juiced it, right? You've really juiced the success out of that one thing. Persistence really does pay. You've got to be able to. You've got to have what I like to call stickability, the ability to stick to one thing for the foreseeable future. And I remember I saw some quote from 50 Cent. And 50 Cent said that people just get bored. Right, people get bored and they wonder why they're unhappy with their lives because they don't stick to one thing. It's so important that you stick to one thing. There's no between myself or anyone else. I have a desire to stick to one thing. I have goals, and I make it happen by the grace of God.
Amen. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's that one thing. Just focus. Just focus on one thing. That's it. If you're focused on different things, you're not gonna be able to get the same results because you've then watered down that effort. You understand, and it's going to take you longer and more effort to get to achieve that one thing.
People are lazy as well. Truth be told, people listen closely. Listen closely to this.
I'm listening closely.
People like the idea of financial freedom, but they're not willing to pay the price.
Thank you.
Do the work that is necessary. It doesn't. The vehicle never matters, whether it's trading, property, stocks, music, whatever venture. Right? You have to be willing to pay the price for success in that industry. You have to be able to humble yourself and follow the rules and the blueprints of success for that industry. Right? Everyone loves the idea of financial freedom. Who's willing to pay the price? Who's willing to do what it takes? And it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you. It might cost you some relationships. It's going to cost you energy. It might cost you money. Right? It's going to take effort, and many people are not willing to pay the price. Most people are really geared up for being an employee, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want more, you must be more. If you want to obtain more, you must become more and personally develop in such a way that you're able to handle what is required of you if you're going to go a particular venture.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, and that's something I've seen in you, like all these years. You've always had the drive, determination, persistence, whatever it is that you're applying, this to, I saw it, and then once I heard you got into this, I was like, okay, cool. It's only a matter of time when Jason's going to be successful in this, because I know your character, and because of your drive, your persistence, your personality, I knew it's going to bring you to where we are today, having this discussion about you being successful trading.
Yeah.
Man, okay.
Learning.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, okay. So obviously now today you're trading full time. Yeah. You've got your own business. You've left JP Morgan. You left Goldman Sachs. You left all those jobs in the past. Okay, how did you how was that transition? So I mean, how's it been getting to this point where, okay, cool, you've been able to replace your income, you've been able to, no need to go back to a full-time job, and you've been able to kind of like build passive income as well as active income with trading. Talk us through that. I mean, and talk us through maybe. I mean, there's different types of trade. I mean, I know there's binary trading, there's Forex, there's stocks, there's so many assets. Talk us through maybe perhaps what you're focusing on. And how you made that transition.
Sure. So I focus specifically on Forex. It's the largest financial market in the world. I think it generates, last time we checked, it was roughly about 6.6 trillion per day. Stock market billions per day. So it's the most liquid financial market, right? Good access to be able to trade and whatnot. Yeah. In terms of my transition, of course there's growing pains and there's challenges you have to face, because your whole life you live a lifestyle of being told what to do. And so now you have to become your own boss and say, Jace, you've got to be accountable to yourself. You've got to be able to say, get up when you need to get up, or go to sleep at a good time, and manage your time schedule and all of these things, prioritization. And because you're so used to being told what to do, you have to really make a transition. And that in itself is a challenge. Just because sometimes, you can ham, we can work hard, etc. And sometimes you could kind of slack off a little just because you've got freedom, but you've got to apply pressure to yourself and keep your vision in front of you. That kind of helps you to be able to press forward.
Yeah,
you had those challenges, obviously, and because in terms of trading, it's a skill set. It takes time to learn. It is not a get rich quick scheme, and so you have failures. You're gonna have successes. You're gonna have failures. You're gonna have wins. You're gonna have losses. This, that, and the other, right? But again, that's all business. You're gonna have losses in business. You're gonna have wins in business. In fact, that's just life. Life contains wins and errors. And the key is for you to be able to learn, right? To learn from that. And most people, again, aren't willing to go through the process of failure. Most people aren't willing to fail. And, fail, again, another acronym for fail is FAIL, first attempt in learning. First, you've got to be able to go through the process, right, of making the mistakes and say, okay, why did this happen? What do I need to rectify? What do I need to change? What do I need to adjust? Where do I need to pivot? And in so doing, you can get better and get better and get better. But you've got to be willing to take the L's first. And people are not willing to take the L's. If you just want comfort and consistency, keep doing whatever it is you're doing in terms of the job. But if you go into any venture, whether it's trading or anything, it'll be L's. And you've got to be willing to fail. And that's why they say people who are successful have failed more times than the person who's just willing to even try.
It's true. It's true. Because they failed that many times, they know what not to do next time.
Exactly. That's why you have the whole story about Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, and an attempt of roughly 10,000 times, and all his premise was, and his mindset was, I just found 9,999 ways that it doesn't work. and so, depending on what your business is, ladies and gents, you have to have that mindset that I'm going to persist and experiment and find a way, especially if it has already been done before. You see, when you want to be successful in any given venture, so trading, for example, right? Someone out there has done what it is that you want to do. So one of the keys, I'm trying not to preach on this call, is humbling yourself and listening and following what already works. Who has the results? How can I learn and implement what it is that they're doing? Mentorship, as an example. Does that make sense? And as you do that, you fast track your success. It's so important to understand that.
That's it. That is it, man. It's just, taking the formulas, taking the systems, taking the knowledge that's already out there, techniques, and then applying it, and then also getting guidance for mentorship to help you accelerate your progress.
Exactly.
I mean, that's honestly what it is. Rinse and repeat, and just stay in the course, sticking out until you get to where you need to get to.
Stay the course. Many people just haven't stayed the course, and if you would stay the course, you'd be much further along than if you hadn't.
Yeah. Okay, great. And so basically, obviously, you've just discussed that. How come you've probably got people, a lot of people listening right now fired up, they're thinking, okay, cool, maybe I should get into trading. Who's trading for and who is not for? Obviously, you just described, you need to be consistent. I mean, trading is not for everybody, I guess, I know trading is not for me. I mean, I know it's a vehicle that I can use for wealth, but it's something that I choose not to pursue at this point in time, as we've discussed in the past. Who's trading for? Who is it not for? Why trade? And how can they get involved trading with you, Jason?
Yes. So anybody can trade. It's not for everyone. We're all called to different things, right? We all have different skill sets and gifts. If every single person was just trading, then who's going to, get us from point A to point B in terms of trains? And who's going to be our doctors? Who are going to be our lawyers? Who are going to be our engineers? Everyone has their sphere, right? And trading, of course, is another sphere. It enables you to have maybe an additional stream of income. Many people understand the concept and the importance of multiple streams of income. So trading is just another stream, whether it's property or trading or whatnot, right? Dropping, affiliate marketing, whatever it is, it's just another stream. But for me, I think in terms of some of the benefits of trading is the fact that, we're all using one of these. We're all using a smartphone, and you can literally turn this smartphone into an income generating machine with some effort, right? With some ability, with some consistency. The fact that this can be done anywhere in the world at any given time. Banks are doing with our money already, right? So for me, it's a truly powerful vehicle for you to be able to utilize, and it's something, again, that once you learn, no one can take from you, and you can teach it to your children. See, my 7-month-old daughter, right? She's asleep right now. When she's of age, I'm going to teach her how to trade. When she has children, guess what she's probably going to do?
Teach your children how to trade.
Now you're looking at generational wealth. So it's very, very powerful in that respect. Now, in terms of being able to trade with myself, then by all means, if you want to, you can certainly send me a message on Instagram. My handle is Jason Agbods. I'm sure details are provided, but at Jason Agbods, send me a message, and then we can have a conversation. See if it's a good fit for you and for us. In terms of the people that I'm trading with now, I remember it was just a few of us. August 2018, just maybe about 3 of us, just trading and learning together. And in terms of our community and people that wanted to trade with us, we've grown now to about 430 people across the globe. People trading in Ghana, Nigeria, Jamaica, Australia, India, New York, New Jersey, Canada, people up north in the UK and Manchester. So a big community, and we are growing pretty much every day. And people understand that it's time to be able to take finance into one's own hand instead of just relying on someone else providing that paycheck. So definitely, if you're keen on learning the skill set, want to have a conversation, by all means, we can definitely do so. Just send me a message on Instagram, Jason Agbods, and then we can go from there.
Absolutely. I'll put everything in the show notes so you guys won't miss all of those details. And Jason, I know you've done a great job trading. Let's talk a little bit about, before we wrap this up, let's go through a couple more points. So let's talk about how, I think you've done a pretty good job leveraging social media and your sales skills to, just to be able to kind of like help people, to promote your trading business. How does that work for you?
Yeah, well, that's working swimmingly, to be honest. And the beautiful thing is, when it comes down to it, all business is about adding value to people's lives. Your business doesn't last if you do not add value, if you do not provide a solution, if you don't solve problems, and if you don't provide solutions to people's needs. There's various different businesses, as we know. What one thing that every single human being needs to be able to function on planet Earth? Money. No human can function, right? On this,
there's water, but money as well.
Obviously, we need air. You know what I'm saying? If you have water and you have air, you have no money. Then how are you going to go through life? Just what I'm saying. Everyone needs money. Good book, money answers all things. Ecclesiastes, right? And what does trading enable you to be able to generate? Money. Now, the smartphone. So what we're doing is saying, you know what, ladies and gents, there's a solution here. If you're someone who says, you know what, I'm struggling with money, I don't have enough cash flow, I don't have enough income, trading is a solution. And so all we're doing is providing a solution. Some people hate their jobs. They hate the 9 to 5. They're looking for an avenue to be able to leave. Trading can be a solution. Does that make sense? Alongside that. So really and truly, all we're doing is just providing a solution for people to be able to say, you know what, let me turn my phone into something that can be able to produce an income for me, whilst I obviously learn this skill over a period of time. But in terms of the whole business of sharing trading, it's wonderful, because the messages that I've received, people saying change their lives. A number of people that you're trading with now have left their jobs. One was an accountant, left his job. He's got a nice ring over now. Another person left their job as well, doing this full time. So it's powerful. Again, when I was at Goldman Sachs, I'm making good money for me. Not really seeing how I'm being of service and helping people, right? Making good money for the bank. But here, not only am I making good money for myself,
Yeah.
Actually helping other people make money, and I have my time. And time is the one thing that you can face.
That's it.
You understand?
So
I'm very grateful for this.
Perfect. It's definitely been a vehicle for you to, claim back more time and make more at the same time. You know what I mean? It's a double whammy, honestly. Wow. Jason, thank you for opening up about trading, your background, your career, etc.
Sure.
Before we wrap this up, actually, just a couple more things.
Yes, sir.
So before we wrap this up, what I was going to say is, do you have any final thoughts in terms of, do you have any announcements that you wanted to share with the audience? Like, do you have any events coming up or anything that you wanted to mention, to promote to the world listening?
Well, I tell you what, if I can just add this additional bit of value to people, personal self-development, ladies and gents, is so important. Your income will never ever exceed your level of personal growth. The reason why I am the way I am today is because of the people that I listen to. People who are successful in any given venture, they are successful because they think a certain way. They think a certain way, and you need to get their mind in your mind. You need to think a certain way, because in the words of the wonderful Elle Nightingale, we do become what we think about. And so it's so important that you literally take upon yourself the commitment of growing the way you think and growing yourself. Because success in any venture is really 90% mental and spiritual and 10% skill set. And that's why you have two people who will go into any venture. One person succeeds and one doesn't. What's the difference? It's the mindset. So if I was to leave, with these words, literally commit to your personal growth. Be reading books, listen to audios on YouTube, and whilst we're here, I think right now, just in terms of anyone who definitely wants to trade with us, definitely get in touch. In a good amount of time. Within a week or so, and we'll see if we can rustle up a few deals. Just because of the fact that we've been on a wonderful podcast together.
100%. Awesome, Jason. This is something I always leave my this is something I always ask my guests before I wrap up the show. So when you think of when the word Accra comes to mind, I know it's been a while since you've been in Ghana, right? This is the sound of Accra. When you hear the word Accra, or when someone says, what's the sound of Accra to you? What kind of thoughts, feelings, emotions come to mind when that is mentioned to you?
The sound of Accra. I tell you what came to my mind. Beautiful. Beauty came to my mind. Our color, our culture, our people. See, Ghanaians are regarded as very peaceful individuals, right? Very chill, very relaxed. You see what I'm saying? Because there's so much a reason to not be relaxed, to have so much stress in this world, and to be known that to be known as peaceful people. Do with a lot of peace, and in all things we are to pray, right? To pray and not be anxious for anything.
That's it.
And then the peace of God that will surpass all understanding will be our portion. So that's what comes to my mind.
Awesome, excellent. Well, Jason, thank you for coming on. Again, everyone, you can get the show notes from going on to thesoundofaccra.com. You've been an amazing guest, Jason, dropping those gems as usual. Just to hear again your journey. I mean, obviously I know your journey as a friend, but I mean, just to hear your journey again, it's always inspiring and always, brings those kind of, strong feelings to mind, because, it's not easy, man. It's not easy. And, you've definitely done a great job of trading. So again, congratulations. And we'll catch up soon.
Thank you very much, Baba.
All right, everybody. Say that again.
I said, thank you very much, Adrian. I appreciate you for even having me on the show. Thank you so much.
No problem. Again, so again, we'll catch you on the next one, everybody, and take care. Bye. So that was Jason Agbodza, investor, mentor, and speaker, and also a good friend of mine. I hope you really enjoyed that episode. If you do want to see more guests like this, please get in touch with us. Drop us an email, info@thesoundofaccra.com, or drop us a message on Instagram or on LinkedIn at The Sound of Accra. Okay. Now, if you did like that episode and you want to go get more from it, please do visit the show notes. Go on thesoundofaccra.com, or even so, check out the unique guest page I have for each guest that comes onto the show. For this particular show, you can put in the URL on the website, thesoundofaccra.com/Jason-Agbodza. You can get the show notes. If you haven't checked out the show notes section of any guest of mine, I do really encourage you to go out and check it. It really does pack a punch. I mean, really do all the hard work for you, so you don't need to do a thing. You're going to see a good show summary. You're going to get all the key references from the show, so you don't have to write everything down like a crazy man. We will also have all of the social media content on there for the guest, and you also be able to connect with the guests that you're listening to as well. So we've done all the hard work for you, so all you need to do is go on the website and check it out. Again, thank you all for listening. If this is your first time or you've been a loyal listener, again, thank you so much. We're going to keep bringing you more impactful, positive, powerful content as the season 1 progresses. Those of you out there, please keep safe, and during this interesting period also, let's keep alert, let's keep conscious, let's keep aware of what's going on, and let's help out our brother and our sister. Okay, yes, that's me signing off. Again, I go by the name of Adrian Daniels, and until the next episode, stay blessed, God bless, and take care. Bye bye.